This is just a plug. It used to be the reverse lockout, whatever you want to call it, on there. And that was just to keep you from starting it in reverse. This is our vent tube. So now all we're going to do is set it down in place. Just like that. And this, whoa, come back here, George. This gear will go on here like that. I got to anchor it from the bottom with these screws. This chain will go on here like that. Let's do it from the bottom side so the gravity works for us. That will be there like that, and we're going to have to put some kind of a tensioner on here, I'm sure. I got to work that out. So there you have it, the transmission back together. Sorry you missed some of it. Sorry it's pretty boring, but it is back together. This is the gear that will go on from the bottom. This, I believe, is the shifter for up here. Well, something ain't going right. So we're going to have to take the top of the transmission off. It's all bolted down, but it won't shift properly. It might be just because everything's so gooped up in there, but none of you guys hollered loud enough. I didn't hear anybody telling me, George, you forgot to put the gear oil in. You forgot to put the gear oil in. So, if nothing else, we're going to take the top off. I could just take this plug out, put the gear oil in through there, but I have no way of measuring to know exactly how much I need. And so with this issue going on, we need to pull the top off anyway. That's what we're doing. That's what George is famous for, you know. He's famous for pulling things apart after he's already put them together. Now let's see if I can get it to come apart. Just take the top off. I want to get all the parts pieces apart. I love it. I got to work my way. I got a tool here. It's easier to sit down. I'm going to proceed up. Oh, it's a new bottle. You know what the problem is, don't you? Yeah. I'm going to pull the seal off here. Well, I'm going to presume that that's about a third. Looks like it's not rocket science. But all the gears are into it so that they'll get good lubrication as the world turns. So I'm going to put it back together, assuming that everything is copacetic. And hopefully I won't be sorry. We won't find out for sure until we get to the place where we actually have power hooked up to the bottom end. That's neutral right there, which is where it's supposed to be, because there's our reverse lockout. You pull that up and that pushes it into reverse, and like I said, I have a hard time turning it because we have big gears trying to turn a little gear, and that always works against itself. Plus these are straight cut gears trying to turn a bevel gear on the bottom end, but it does work. That puppy is tight, maybe too tight, but once it runs it'll loosen up really quick. So I'm going to leave it as is for now. Seems like I'm leaving a lot of things as is for now. I have to modify this. This is my cover that goes over this, keep our legs away from the chain. I've got to trim this back here. Well, we have our transmission all installed and all hooked up for shifting. I'm going to have to do a little bit of more work underneath, but as far as up top here is concerned, we got our cover back on and our cover on here. And if you look up underneath here, I have my gear on the right angle gearbox. On the other side I'm going to take it back off. It won't go up as high as I'd like, and I think part of the problem is that when I welded the sprocket to the hub, it shrunk the hub just a little bit. So I've got to take care of that. And let me bring you around from the other side. Now looking at it from the driver's side, you can see both gears. The one on the opposite side over there, that's the one on the bottom of the transmission. So that's all set to go. So I need to get this gear right here, get that one so it'll slide up on the shaft a little bit further. You can see it doesn't come all the way down. And then I gotta come up with an idler for the chain. But then the next step is to hook all of this up in here and hook all of my chains all the way to the back. I just cut my copper tubing to length, and you can see I started polishing it, and that's what it'll be like. I'll get it all polished. Hold it against a plain background, you can see it better. I'll get it all polished and then we'll clear coat it, keep it that way. So this will go on here like so, and then the sprocket will go on, and then I have another filler piece right there that will go onto the other side. And actually that goes like that. So yeah, then we'll be able to have our drivetrain completed. And once that is completed, my next step will be to go back to finishing up my wiring. And you can see I have wiring inside the frame already, but I need to run this wire here, which is for my brake light. I need to run that all the way up to the front, and so I can permanently tie it into our brake light switch, which you saw before. So, yep, we're making progress, and hopefully I'll get a little more time to work on the Goofy Cart. Lord willing, my grandson Noah, who lives in Minnesota, is going to be coming out in August, and my goal is to get this up and running before he gets here, so that we can take it for a test ride or 2 or 3 or 4 while he's here. So until next time, this is George, a Shade Tree Fix-It Man, saying thanks for watching, for commenting, and for subscribing, and I always appreciate the thumbs up. And if you're so inclined to share it, maybe not with this video, this was kind of disjointed because of the issues I ran into with the transmission. And like I said at the beginning, this is not a how-to. I took this apart 6 or 8 months ago and didn't get around to putting it back together till now. And yeah, I've never tinkered with this particular kind before, and it's basically the same as a 3-speed. Well, this one's a 5-speed. So no more babbling. Thanks again. Till next time, bye now.